AOC posted this to a TikTok last night. I was surprised to see it. I thought it was another part of my algorithm that was showing up on the feed. But this is Stavros Halkias, the Stavi Show, and
Stavi's show's amazing, by the way. I just gotta say, it's like really my mood elevator every week. I love Stavi's World. I can't believe he's just like getting all this prominence on the left. I mean, it's great. It's great.
Some great political analysis here from the son of immigrants.
Yeah.
It's very funny that some people might call Zohran a Nepo baby because his mom makes indie films, whereas like Andrew Cuomo's father's name is on a bridge. He was the governor. What are we talking about? I'm Stavros Halkias. I'm a comedian. I'm from Baltimore originally. I've been in New York City now for 10 years, 10 of those years in Astoria. Living in an affordable New York City is really important to me. I've been very lucky, I've been very fortunate to be pretty successful in my career, and money hasn't been a problem the last few years, although who knows. But I grew up working class. My parents struggled a lot of the time. And a candidate that is dedicated to making things more affordable for everyday people is exactly the kind of candidate that I want to support. Andrew Cuomo's disgraced. He sexually harassed his staff after he was basically thrown out of being governor. He felt entitled to being mayor of New York City. And I think that's a big problem with the Democratic Party in general. You have a lot of these corporate Democrats. They've lost touch with an average person. I don't think it's a coincidence that right now in this moment, an unknown assemblyman has become a political phenomenon. It's not about Zohran. Zohran's, look, I like the guy, he's a nice guy, but it's the fact that he's speaking to the concerns of working class people in a way that I think neither party has done for decades at this point. Zohran and the policies that he is talking about, the affordability issues that most people are really worried about. They're worried about making their rent. They're worried about health care. That has really galvanized people. That's really given them a lot of hope. In a time where, frankly, it's gotten a little scary, gotten a little hopeless when you see what the Trump administration is doing.
Yeah. Good for
I really
Stav.
appreciate the "it's not about Zohran" thing. That, like the cult of personality stuff. I mean, he's obviously so charismatic, but that's not the point.
No.
Yeah.
And Zohran has been very, very explicit about that in the entire way. And I have to say, at the event, we had over. There was it was probably about close to 3,000 people, and maybe even like another 500 or 600 outside at least. Everyone you met, and they're all volunteers. Everyone you met had been door knocking or coordinating. We met a lot of people who were Majority Report listeners who were like, I've been door knocking every day, or I'm managing, North Queens, or I mean, people just the amount of people who were invested enough to work for this victory for Mamdani. I mean, I don't know how you measure this, but I don't get the sense that like the city has seen anything quite like this in ages. I mean, honestly, probably not since like Tammany Hall days. Did you see this kind of sort of like broad-based, where 10% of your voters actually were volunteering for the campaign? I think it's just, it was so impressive. Really.
I mean, but it's also, I mean, when you reference Tammany Hall too, like the analogous time right now politically is probably the Gilded Age in terms of like what's happening on the federal level. Trump's openly saying that, that's what he wants to emulate. Those are the politicians with the tariff policy with William McKinley that created the conditions for the Great Depression and the insane amounts of income and wealth inequality that we've actually like exceeded, I think, at this point. Yep. So that this is an opportunity for real political change. And you brought up FDR last night, but this is where hopefully we can see some movement
Trump
like that.
remembers how McKinley's term ended.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not calling for that. I'm just wondering if he knows that. I'm not trying to be.
I think that's part of why he. I think that's part of why he was into it. Like back there was during why he was obsessed was because of the assassination. Well, he survived though. Go on.
God though.
God
saved me.
Him. Yeah.
It's very important that compared to when there was a lot of hopeful energy like this in 2008, that the Democratic Party is not in charge of keeping the mobilization alive, and it's in hands like DSAs.
It's huge. It's huge. Well, it's also, I mean, frankly, it was Obama. I mean, it wasn't. It only
Obama
became.
for America.
It only became. It was Obama for America, and they moved it into the DNC. In the summer of 2008, the Obama campaign explicitly said to all the donors, "You do not donate to outside groups. You don't donate to Acorn or to Planned Parenthood or to Move On or to any of the outside groups that are going to mobilize. We control everything. That way we can turn the spigot on and we can turn the spigot off." And they turned it off because they did not want, it was really, I suspect, Rahm Emanuel, who was like, we need to disempower the, what do you call the professional left, or the effing R words, he was on record for saying, so that they don't have the ability to influence our decision making. And it happened, and Obama was inoculated from that criticism. I mean, I distinctly remember it would have been the September of 2009. What's that? Oh, September 2009. And there was one element, and I can't remember what it was. Obama had promised to put in some type of, like, I think bankruptcy forgiveness or cram down. Maybe it was a homeowner cram down in a bill, and he didn't do it. And by September of 2009, some of us were like, this is going sideways. This is going sideways. And then it really did. Digby was very much on it in that year because she had flagged that Obama kept talking about entitlement reform. And so Obama, tacked to the right, and they had disempowered what existed of, like, the people power. And Mamdani is doing the opposite. He's going to keep it because people are going to, that is going to be in his back pocket when he goes to Albany. And it's also reflective of an ideological difference. So, I mean, like, it appears as a tactical difference, but it really is tied into an ideological difference. If you are looking for more democracy, which means less concentration of wealth, less concentration of political power, more involvement and autonomy, or I should say, autonomy in the, or sovereignty, I should say, within the context of our economy. And you necessarily need that the people to be engaged.
Yep.
It's consistent. If you don't necessarily believe that, if you, like Obama, believe that, like, Robert Rubin and Geithner were masters of the universe and they know what they're talking about, and at the end of the day, there is a hierarchy for a reason, and he never ultimately had an issue with that because he knew how to work that hierarchy, then it's just a tool. That you can discard. In some instances, you want to discard because you don't want it to work against you.
Yep.
Let's go to Donald Trump, because I think the other part of this is
I'm looking forward to this, the men who are taking this lesson away, which is that 81% of young women voted for Mamdani in NYC, 80% for Cheryl in New Jersey, and 78% for Spanberger in Virginia. And Scott Adams says, I found the problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I do think that, like, this is there are not that many left-wing women in the space. Like the, I don't know. The Democratic Party should probably get on board with the fact that there are left-wing women, young women. I think are at the core of this. It's not just young men who are very left-wing at this point and are like driving some enthusiasm within the base.
I think women were more sensitive about the Gaza stuff too. If maybe someone could correct me on that point, but that's what I remember from last year.
I mean, mothers. Like, I mean, I just anecdotally, I also think the Miss Rachel stuff had a really big impact on like young mothers.
Jennifer Welch.
Yeah, I mean that's right. I'm kind of losing my train of thought.
Trump is gross.
Yeah.
And I mean, Trump is gross.
He's a rapist.
Yeah.
I mean, and also for that support with Mamdani, it turns out like Me Too didn't, there's not the Me Too backlash for young women. Like they still don't want to support a rapist or not rapist, sexual assaulter like Andrew Cuomo.
What's also fascinating about the Mamdani race, and then then we'll move on, is if you go back and look at that video he did in the wake of the Trump, I think we played it the other night, right? We played it last night.
Yeah, where he goes out and asks people why.
He goes out and asks people why they voted for Trump in his district. And now you could go back. They edited it at the time, presumably to reflect what was really there. I can't imagine he was like, we're going to cut out this issue about
James O'Keefe style.
Yeah. Let's cut out the thing where people are upset about the idea that healthcare would be free and just keep in the other stuff. No, you look at that video that he produced over a year ago now, or probably about a year.
Yeah.
A week after the election.
A week after the election. So yeah, about a year ago. And his entire campaign was developed in that week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he had these ideas beforehand, but they basically said affordability, Gaza.
Yep.
Affordability, Gaza. And he basically built the campaign around that. Which, on one hand, sounds like, oh, that's a pretty obvious thing to do. And on the other hand, sounds like completely revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. You went out and asked your constituents and literally just did what they asked for? That's weird. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.